An arrogant alien fleet mocks humanity's primitive technology from their distant command station. Beneath Earth's calm exterior, a hidden ancient power stirs as humanity prepares to shatter cosmic arrogance. The symbolic initiation of Protocol Epsilon sends a chilling warning. Humanity's silence masks a deadly fury they never imagined. "Earth's technology is a joke," sneered Admiral Cortan, his voice sharp like the edge of a blade slicing through the tense air. Primitive, slow, laughable, a prehistoric relic drifting in the void. The holographic projection of the Sol system hovered above the polished command console. Earth spun silently, bathed in blue and green hues, seemingly fragile, almost insignificant in the vast emptiness. The chamber aboard the Zelnari warship thrummed with a low hum, punctuated by the buzz of whispered conversations and soft clicks from distant consoles. Around the projection, the alien observers leaned in, their compound eyes narrowing with contempt. "This ball of dirt can't even maintain orbital defense satellites," the second-in-command mocked, his mandibles clicking rhythmically. "Their rockets crawl slower than a newborn hatchling's first steps." Laughter echoed softly, the kind bred of deep-seated superiority. They had been watching humanity for cycles now, cataloguing their backwardness, amused at the lack of any visible warp drives or advanced shielding tech. The Galactic Council deemed Earth irrelevant, too primitive, too chaotic for consideration. But here in this outpost, far beyond the bright spires of the core worlds, some still kept their eyes on Earth, mocking, yes, but curious. Curious enough to gloat, yet beneath the surface of that arrogance lay a fissure, a silent tremor in the galactic order. Deep beneath Earth's oceans and mountain ranges, humanity was not idle. Captain Lena Morales stood in a cavernous command. Hull miles below the surface, the walls alive with the soft glow of bioluminescent panels. Her posture was calm, collected, almost statuesque. The low hum of the reactors vibrated through the floors, syncing with her heartbeat. She watched the alien broadcast feed, hearing the taunts, feeling the weight of their dismissal. But her eyes reflected neither fear nor anger, only cold calculation. Her fingers hovered over a control console, then settled on a sleek panel etched with archaic symbols, an ancient sigil from the forgotten tribes of the Pacific Northwest. She pressed down decisively. "Protocol Epsilon," she murmured. The command rippled through the subterranean network like a silent shockwave. Vault doors sealed themselves with deep, mechanical thuds. Over centuries, Earth's finest minds had built layers upon layers of hidden installations, vaults that housed technology far beyond the casual glance of interstellar surveyors. The machinery in the depths began to stir, quantum processors activated, dormant fusion cells ignited, and experimental drives whispered to life. The Zelnari, with their glossy arrogance and shimmering starships, had no idea what waited beneath their feet. Above, the starbase monitors flickered. Without warning, the distant starbase Helios blinked out, vanished as if swallowed by the void. The room gasped, some scrambling to identify the cause. "Impossible," stammered the chief technician. "No known weapon can do this at that range." "Admiral." Gorton's expression twisted into fury. On Earth, Lena's lips tightened as she spoke into the secure comm channel. "They're not ready for this. They never were." Her voice carried the weight of centuries of betrayal, exclusion, and underestimation. The Council had banished humanity to the outskirts, mocking their lack of civilization, branding them death-world primitives. But humanity had survived and thrived beneath layers of silence and secrecy. Lena's eyes flicked to a digital countdown appearing on the main screen, a slow, deliberate timer, counting down from 60 minutes. The symbolic act was clear. A warning, a promise, a reckoning. "You thought we were helpless," she whispered. "You thought your mockery was safe." The ancient machines beneath Earth vibrated with deadly purpose. A subtle pulse radiated outward, a quantum tremor spreading invisibly through space. The first starbase vanished. The galaxy's smug arrogance was about to face its deadliest test. As the first starbase vanishes, panic ripples through the Xelnari fleet. Captain Arin, the station's tactical commander, scrambles to understand the inexplicable destruction while Earth's silent strike grows in power. Meanwhile, human operatives begin awakening ancient machines buried in the planet's core, preparing for a war the galaxy never saw coming. The vast command chamber aboard Starbase Helios pulsed with tension. Panels flickered erratically, warning sirens echoing through the hollow metal halls. "Report!" barked Commander Arin, his sharp gaze cutting through the room like a blade. "Starbase Helios has suffered a catastrophic spatial collapse," the communications officer stammered. "Entire structure vanished without warning." Arin's knuckles whitened as he slammed his fist against the console. "Impossible! There are no known weapons capable of this." The senior officers exchanged worried glances. Rumors of Earth's primitive technology had always been met with ridicule here. Yet now, that ridicule morphed into raw fear. "Commander," a young lieutenant reported, "we're detecting a quantum pulse emanating from the inner system. It's faint, but definitely artificial." Arin's mind raced. The Xelnari had scoured Earth's surface for threats, yet had uncovered nothing that posed a danger. What could possibly cause an entire starbase to blink out of existence? "Activate full sensor sweep," he ordered. "We need to know if the attack is over or just beginning." Far below Earth's crust, the humming of ancient machines grew louder. In subterranean control centers, human engineers monitored arrays of glowing panels. Lena Morales' voice echoed across the channels. "Phase 2 initiated," she declared. In the cavernous depths, colossal structures once thought to be myth stirred to life. Vast crystalline arrays aligned, channeling bursts of energy through. Intricate conduits forged millennia ago by forgotten hands. These were weapons not born from conventional science, but from a symbiosis of quantum fields and elemental force, a legacy of Earth's harsh death world past. The pulse Arin's sensors detected was only the beginning. Back on Helios, alarms screamed louder. The entire fleet braced for impact. But no conventional strikes followed. The void remained silent, pregnant with dread. "What are they hiding beneath that world?" muttered the base's chief scientist, voice trembling. "They mocked our technology," Arin growled, "but they underestimated our reach and our patience." On Earth, Lena's eyes scanned the live feed of Xelnari panic. The galaxy had always believed Earth a backward planet, but tonight that belief shattered like fragile glass. Her voice softened, yet held iron. "This is our home, and we've waited long enough." The countdown ticked on. The shadows beneath Earth moved with purpose. The war had begun. While the Xelnari scrambled to understand the unseen threat, humanity's secret depths come alive. Lena Morales leads a covert strike team into the ancient core, awakening technologies forged in Earth's crucible. The alien arrogance begins to fracture as humanity's hidden military supremacy stares back from the shadows, ready to reclaim their place in the galaxy. The stars glittered cold and distant above the vast void, indifferent to the turmoil unfolding beneath them. Yet, beneath the seemingly placid surface of Earth, the planet itself pulsed like a living fortress, awakening from a long slumber. Captain Lena Morales stood at the edge of a massive chamber, its walls carved from ancient rock and interlaced with veins of glowing crystal. The air vibrated faintly with energy, thick with the scent of ozone and mineral dust. This place was no ordinary bunker. It was the heart of Earth's buried might, a legacy etched in silence and secrecy. Around her, a team of elite operatives adjusted their gear, Their faces were grim but resolute. These were the best humanity had to offer, trained to fight in shadows, equipped with technology far beyond anything the galaxy had glimpsed. "Listen up," Lena's voice cut through. The hum. "What we're doing here isn't just war, it's reclamation. For centuries, we've been underestimated, mocked, pushed to the edges. Tonight, that ends. Every pulse you feel beneath your feet is a reminder of what this planet survived and what it's capable of." Her words settled like steel in the minds of her team. Beyond the veil of stars, alien eyes watched, blind to the storm gathering below. Meanwhile, in orbit, the Zelnari fleet reeled. Starbases blinked out one after another, each disappearance a death knell echoing across their ranks. Panic rippled beneath their once confident command. Admiral Cortan's voice was strained when he barked orders. "Deploy drone swarms, scan the planet's surface, find the source of these attacks." "Sir," came a warning from the science officer, "surface scans show nothing. The pulses originate from deep within the crust. Something ancient, something alive." The Admiral clenched his fists. Their arrogance had made them blind. Blind to the hidden war machines Earth had nurtured in silence. Machines that were not just weapons, but extensions of the planet's primal will. Back underground, Lena's team approached a colossal mechanism, part machine, part geological formation. Its surface shimmered with fractal patterns that seemed to shift and ripple under their gaze. "Activation sequence ready," the tech specialist announced, fingers dancing over holographic keys. "If this works, we'll have a power source that rivals a star's core." Lena nodded sharply. "Do it!" The chamber trembled as the ancient engine hummed to life, sending shockwaves through the bedrock. Cracks of blue-white light streaked across the walls. Energy cascaded through conduits, awakening dormant defenses. Outside the planet's atmosphere, the Zelnari fleet's sensors blared as a massive energy surge radiated outward, temporarily blinding their arrays. "Shields failing. We're taking electromagnetic interference from below," shouted the tactical officer. Cortan's jaw tightened. "Contain it, but prepare for a ground assault. They will not win through shadows." But the humans were already beyond shadows. They were in the heart of the storm. Lena's comm crackled. "All units, synchronize with the core grid. Initiate phase gamma." A deep vibration shook the planet, felt even in orbit. The ancient machines forged in Earth's crucible of fire and ice roared to life. For the first time in millennia, humanity's buried arsenal revealed itself. Beneath the veil of stars, the galaxy would see Earth's true face, fierce, relentless, and unyielding, and the age of mockery would end in silence, as Earth's ancient war machines stir from their millennia-long slumber. Their sheer power unsettles the Zelnari fleet. Captain Morales leads a covert strike team deeper into the planet's core to unlock the full might of humanity's hidden arsenal. The galaxy's dismissive view of Earth shatters as the war machines hum to life, ready to unleash a wrath born of survival, pain, and centuries of silent preparation. The weight of centuries pressed down as Captain Lena Morales descended into the deepest bowels of Earth's hidden sanctuary. The air grew thick, charged with an ancient power that hummed beneath the surface like a heartbeat pulsing through stone and steel. Around her, the cavern walls gleamed with veins of iridescent crystals, ancient conduits that channeled energies no alien science could replicate. The light danced in patterns, fractals shifting like living things, as if the planet itself was awakening, stirring from a long-forgotten dream. "This place," whispered Lieutenant Rajan, eyes wide as he touched the walls. "It feels alive." "It is," Lena replied grimly. "Earth has survived worse than galactic scorn. It's been waiting for this moment." Their steps echoed in the vast chamber, a sound swallowed by the enormous vault before them. Looming ahead was the colossal war engine, a fusion of technology and elemental force, forged in Earth's primal crucible when the planet's surface was a battlefield of molten fury and raging storms. Its frame pulsed with veins of shimmering energy, faintly resonant with the deep core of the planet. "Engage the primary interface," Lena ordered. Technicians moved swiftly, syncing their neural implants with the engine's archaic systems. Ancient glyphs glowed as encrypted commands flowed through forgotten circuits, codes written in a language older than recorded history. Outside, the Zelnari fleet bristled in anxious anticipation. Their sensors still struggled to penetrate, the electromagnetic storms swirling over Earth's atmosphere, a curtain of interference wrought by the awakening war machines. "We are losing contact with several outposts," Admiral Corton growled. "Status report. Sensor arrays are compromised," the lead tactician reported. "Energy fluctuations indicate localized surface activity, but specifics are obscured." "Deploy ground assault teams immediately," Corton commanded, voice hard as granite. "Destroy whatever is causing this interference." But the humans below were already one step ahead. Lena's voice rang out in the comm channel, steady and resolute. "Phase Delta initiated. War machines are online." One by one, the dormant giants began to stir. Massive mechanical limbs unfolded, creaking with a blend of metallurgy and ancient organic resonance. Their frames shimmered with adaptive armor, etched with cryptic sigils that pulsed with a haunting blue light. The war engine's core flared, releasing a pulse so intense it rippled through Earth's magnetic field, triggering auroras across. "The poles! Unleash the fleet!" Lena commanded. Below the surface, hidden docking bays opened with thunderous roars, revealing squadrons of sleek, heavily armed vehicles. Machines born from a fusion of Earth's raw materials and quantum engineering. Pilots slid into their cockpits, neural links syncing with the planet's heartbeat. This was no mere military operation. It was a resurrection of an ancient pact between humanity and its home. As the first war machines broke the surface, streaks of energy tore the night sky. The Zelnari's orbital defenses flared to life, opening fire with plasma beams and missile barrages. But the human machines moved faster, their shield arrays adapting to the onslaught with uncanny precision. Giant mechanized sentinels returned fire, their weaponry pulsing with electromagnetic pulses designed to disable rather than destroy, a calculated strike against the alien arrogance that had plagued Earth for generations. In the chaos above, a squadron of human fighters weaved between beams and explosions, their sleek frames darting like predatory shadows. Each pilot was linked to the planet's core, a single mind guiding 1,000 blades. Back on Helios, the crew scrambled to counterattack, but their efforts faltered against an enemy they had never truly understood. "Commander," the communications officer reported breathlessly, "the humans are deploying weapons that adapt in real time. Their defenses evolve as we attack." "Impossible," Cortan growled. "We face primitives, not masters of war." But the evidence was undeniable. On Earth's surface, Lena watched the unfolding battle through a network of augmented reality feeds. Her eyes burned with a fierce light. This was more than vengeance. This was humanity reclaiming its legacy. The war engine thrummed with power, a living monument to endurance and rage. The galaxy's laughter was dying in the cold vacuum of space, and from the depths of a world scorned, humanity unleashed its silent fury as Earth's war machines sweep across the planet's surface. The Zelnari fleet scrambles to respond. Captain Morales leads her forces into battle, exploiting every weakness in the alien arrogance. The galaxy watches, stunned, as humanity's hidden arsenal turns the tide. What began as mockery will end in devastation, a reckoning born of survival and silent fury. The sky above Earth burned with streaks of incandescent fire, where metal titans clashed and laser storms lit the horizon like furious lightning in a cosmic tempest. Captain Lina Morales stood firm amid the roar of engines and the echo of distant explosions, the heavy hum of her suit's systems grounding her in the chaos. Below the fractured clouds, the ground trembled beneath the relentless march of humanity's resurrected war machines. Their colossal feet churned the earth, sending plumes of dust into the thickening air as massive cannons discharged blasts that pierced through the alien shields. The Zelnari fleet, once smug and untouchable, faltered as their starships were battered by electromagnetic waves and countermeasures born from Earth's hidden genius. Commander Aaron's voice crackled over the tactical channel aboard Starbase Helios. Their weapons evolve with every salvo. Adaptive shields, quantum interference fields, they're rewriting the rules of engagement in real time. Admiral Cortan's hands trembled as he gripped the console. How is this possible? They were supposed to be primitives. How do they wield such power? Lena's eyes flickered to the horizon, where the silhouette of a massive war machine loomed, a sentinel from the dawn of Earth's secret era. Its armor plates shifted like living scales, absorbing and dispersing incoming fire with an eerie, "Grace, this is not just war," she muttered. "This is retribution." Her comm buzzed, and the voice of Lieutenant Rajan came through, urgent but controlled. "Captain, a squadron of enemy fighters is breaking through the perimeter. They're aiming for the command center." "Intercept them," Lena ordered, raising her rifle. The suit's HUD locked onto incoming targets, tagging them with precision. "Alpha Team, engage!" Jets screamed through the sky, weaving between bursts of plasma and laser fire. The battle was a ballet of destruction, metal, and fire choreographed by desperation and resolve. On the surface, human artillery hammered alien positions, carving trenches in the enemy lines. Each shot was calculated, exploiting weaknesses long studied and exploited in simulators buried beneath Earth's cities. The Zelnari found themselves outmatched not by brute force alone, but by a cold, relentless intellect fused with centuries of survival instinct. As a war machine's arm cannon fired, Lena advanced, her suit's servos augmenting her every step. She moved with the deadly grace of a predator, a living symbol of humanity's rise from scorn to dominance. Around her, soldiers communicated silently through neural links, synchronized in purpose and movement. Aaron's voice crackled again. "Admiral, we're losing control of several critical systems. The ground assault is breaking through." Cortan's glare hardened. "Deploy the Titan-class bombers. Burn the surface to ash if we must." Lena heard the threat but remained unshaken. "They'll find no ash, only ruins." In the distance, the war engine's core blazed brighter, pumping raw power into the battlefield. The very ground beneath the aliens seemed to turn against them as seismic weapons ruptured their formations. "Focus fire on the command node," Lena directed, pointing to a massive alien installation that hummed with dark energy. We cripple their response." Her squad surged forward, the thunder of their machines drowning out screams and shouts. Bullets and plasma streaked past, but they advanced with unstoppable momentum. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the field, sending debris flying. Lena was thrown back, but landed heavily, the suit's dampeners absorbing the worst. She scrambled up, breathing hard but unyielding. A voice whispered in her ear, "Captain, the command node is down. Enemy communications are disrupted." A brief smile touched her lips. "Good. Now, let's finish this." The alien fleet, once a symbol of invincibility, fractured beneath the relentless assault. Ships limped away, their pride shattered, their arrogance undone. Far above, the stars bore silent witness to a new era dawning, one where humanity's quiet vengeance would echo across the galaxy. The reckoning had begun. The Zelnaris. Shattered pride fuels desperate retaliation as their forces regroup for a brutal counterattack. Beneath Earth's surface, Lena and her team unlock even deadlier weaponry, awakening the planet's full fury. The galaxy's arrogance breaks against humanity's indomitable will. A war no one foresaw, and none will forget. The charred remains of the Zelnari assault fleet scattered like wounded beasts across Earth's atmosphere. Starbase Helios was no more, vanished into the void as if it had never been. Yet, the galaxy's mightiest were far from defeated. Desperation twisted their pride into rage. Commander Arin stared at the flickering holographic battle map aboard the flagship Sovereign of Scales, his multifaceted eyes burning with fury. "They mock us," he growled. "They thought our technology was primitive, but they have awakened. A storm that will drown them." His voice echoed in the war room, filled with jittery officers recalibrating defenses and launching countermeasures. Yet the technological marvels Earth wielded defied all logic. Beneath Earth's surface, far from the smoke and fire of battle, Lena Morales led her team deeper into the ancient underground complex. Here, where light barely reached, lay the sleeping heart of Earth's wrath, a colossal machine forged from living rock and pulsating energy, bound to the planet itself. "This is the Titan core," she said softly, eyes reflecting the pulsing energy. "It's our final line, and the galaxy's reckoning." Technicians worked feverishly, their hands glowing as they interfaced neural implants with the core's archaic control panels. Cryptic symbols danced across their vision, unlocking sequences written in the language of the planet's forgotten. Architects, outside, seismic tremors rippled through the crust, the first whispers of awakening power that could rend mountains and shatter continents. Suddenly, Lena's comm buzzed urgently. "Captain, enemy forces are regrouping for a ground assault. They intend to strike the subterranean network." Her jaw clenched. "They'll find more than they bargained for." Back in orbit, the Sovereign of Scales unleashed a volley of kinetic strikes, tearing into the human forces holding the surface. But each attack was met with adaptive countermeasures, shields shimmering with quantum nanites, armor plates repairing themselves mid-battle. The humans fought not just with weapons, but with an unbreakable will, the will of a species scorned and sharpened by centuries of survival. Lena activated her suit's augmented reality overlay, revealing the intricate lattice of the Titan core's energy conduits. "Synchronize the power matrix," she commanded. "Let Earth itself become our shield and sword." The ancient machine roared to life, unleashing waves of electromagnetic pulses that blasted through enemy lines. Mountains groaned as energy tendrils surged from deep within the planet, wrapping the battlefield in a crushing grip of raw power. The Zelnari soldiers, caught between machine and human fury, faltered, their weapons jammed, their formations broke. Admiral Cortan's voice came over the comms, sharp with desperation. "Withdraw! Regroup! This planet is no longer a backwater, it's a crucible of destruction." But the damage was done. From the depths of Earth, a thunderous declaration echoed into the void. "We are not your primitives. We are the storm beneath your stars." The Zelnari launch a desperate final assault, determined to crush humanity's uprising before it spreads beyond Earth. But Lena Morales and her forces unveiled devastating new weapons born from Earth's brutal history, fusing raw elemental fury with cutting-edge technology. The battle becomes an epic clash of wills, shaking the foundations of the galaxy and forever rewriting the fate of two civilizations. A cold silence blanketed the void, broken only by the ominous hum of warships gathering like storm clouds around. The blue-green jewel they once dismissed as a primitive outpost. The Zelnari had called it the Dirt Ball, a joke in the grand cosmic theater, but now it was the stage for the galaxy's fiercest reckoning. Admiral Cortan stood on the bridge of the Sovereign of Scales, his eyes, sharp and multifaceted, scanning the vast formation of vessels arrayed for a final, decisive strike. His usual arrogance was tainted with a rare shade of dread. The humans had fought like devils incarnate, their war machines a fusion of ancient power and futuristic brilliance, tearing through the pride of the once mighty Zelnari. "This ends today," Cortan declared, voice like thunder. "Prepare. The Eclipse Protocol. We will burn their world to ash if we must." The Eclipse Protocol was a doomsday strategy, an orbital bombardment so thorough it would sterilize the planet's surface, leaving nothing but desolation. But such destruction carried grave risks, threatening the very fabric of the solar system. Yet desperation left no room for mercy. On Earth, far beneath the horizon, Captain Lena Morales paced the command chamber carved into the heart of the Titan core. Around her, human engineers and warriors moved with quiet purpose, their faces illuminated. By the glow of ancient glyphs and digital readouts, the core thrummed like a living beast, channels of energy weaving through crystalline veins embedded deep within the Earth's crust. Here, technology and the planet's elemental fury converged, a legacy forged during epochs when survival demanded more than mere machines. Lena's mind raced with memories, the stories passed down through generations, the whispered truths of Earth's brutal past when mankind was forged not in comfort but in relentless trial. They were Deathworld survivors, hardened by scalding deserts, savage storms, and predators whose claws reached into nightmares. Now that fury had been harnessed. Now it would be unleashed. "Captain," called Lieutenant Rajan, voice taut with urgency. "Orbital scans show the Eclipse Protocol weapons charging. We have minutes, maybe seconds." Lena's eyes narrowed. "Then we show them the fury they refuse to see." She turned to the nearest terminal, initiating the launch sequence for the Warborn, a fleet of biomechanical titans unlike anything seen in the galaxy. These giants, melded from the bones of Earth's deepest mountains and infused with quantum intelligence, stirred in hidden vaults beneath the surface. Their shells shimmered with iridescent armor plates that resembled the cracked Earth after a devastating quake. Their movements were both mechanical and eerily organic, limbs powered by core energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. Each Warborn carried weaponry capable of channeling Earth's elemental forces, seismic cannons that shattered bedrock, plasma, whips that could rend starship hulls, and shields woven from magnetic storms. As the launch bays opened, the ground itself seemed to tremble in anticipation. Dozens of these titans rose, stepping onto the scarred battlefield, their eyes glowing with fierce resolve. Lena's voice echoed through the neural comms of her soldiers. "This is our home. We fight not just for survival, but for the right to exist, to be respected, not mocked." Outside, the skies ignited. The first salvo of the Eclipse Protocol tore through the atmosphere, a cascade of orbital energy strikes designed to obliterate everything below. But the Warborn were ready. One Titan raised a colossal arm, channeling raw magnetic energy into a protective shield that arced like a living barrier. The energy struck, sending shockwaves rippling through the air, but failing to penetrate the shield's gleaming surface. Another Warborn unleashed a seismic pulse, its deep rumble splitting the ground beneath incoming enemy drop pods. The pods were shattered mid-descent, their occupants hurled helplessly back into the void. "Hold the line," Lena commanded. "Let their arrogance fuel our strength." In the skies above, human fighter squadrons darted between beams of plasma fire, their agility unmatched as they danced through the chaos. Pilots were linked directly to the planet's energy grid, allowing instantaneous reflexes and coordinated strikes that tore through the alien formations. One pilot, Callum, shouted over the comms, excitement and fear mingling in his voice. "They don't expect this. Earth's fury is rewriting the rules." On the ground, human infantry wielded weapons enhanced with elemental technology, rifles that fired bolts of superheated plasma, grenades that erupted in controlled electromagnetic storms, and armor that regenerated from the planet's own biosphere. TT, Zelnari launched their counterattack with brutal desperation. Dropships rained down armored soldiers, attempting to breach the subterranean defenses. But Lena's teams were ready. From the shadows emerged squads equipped with stealth tech that rendered them nearly invisible, striking with precision and silent fury. They were the ghosts beneath the battlefield, cutting communications lines, sabotaging supply caches, and dismantling command nodes. One such operative, Mira, infiltrated an enemy bunker, her movements fluid and lethal. She placed charges on the core reactor, the countdown beginning as she slipped away unseen. Back on the Sovereign of Scales, Cortan's facade cracked under the pressure. "How can this be?" he spat, watching the battle rage on holographic displays. "They fight with the planet itself." His trusted advisor, the tactician Svelta, grimly responded, "They are not merely fighting with technology, but with the soul of their world." Cortan's eyes narrowed, a shadow crossing his features. "Then we must destroy that soul." The flagship released a wave of experimental warheads designed to pierce the Titan core itself. The ground shook violently as explosions rippled. Through the crust, inside the core, Lena felt the tremors through her boots, but her grip never wavered. "We will not fall," she vowed. "Earth is alive, and she fights through us." As the warheads detonated, the core responded, releasing tendrils of energy that surged into the planet's fault lines, triggering massive eruptions and earthquakes. The battlefield became a tempest of fire, metal, and fury. The galaxy held its breath as two forces clashed, not just civilizations, but ideals, legacies, and survival itself. Amid the chaos, Lena stood tall, a beacon of unyielding resolve. The fury of the Forgotten was awakening. The Zelnari, desperate and furious, launch a brutal siege aimed at crushing humanity's subterranean strongholds. But Lena Morales and her forces harnessed shadow warfare, guerrilla tactics, and Earth's ancient secrets to turn the tide. In the depths, unseen battles rage with fierce intensity, shaping the fate of the planet and the galaxy's future. The night sky over Earth was shattered by streaks of light, tracer fire, missiles, and plasma beams illuminating the dark like fiery veins pulsing through a wounded beast. The Zelnari fleet, battered but unyielding, circled like vultures preparing for a final feast. On the planet's surface, the war machines had carved a line of defiance across continents, but their reach was limited. The real power, the heart of humanity's resistance, beat in the shadows beneath. Captain Lena Morales descended into the labyrinthine tunnels of the underground fortress known as Shadow Spire. This ancient stronghold was a marvel of engineering, its halls carved into bedrock and reinforced with layers of electromagnetic shielding that rendered it invisible to orbital scans. Within its walls, humanity's finest warriors prepared for the coming siege. Soldiers clad in adaptive armor, tuned to the subterranean environment, moved silently, weapons humming with elemental energy. The air was thick with tension and resolve. "This is our last stand," Lena announced, her voice steady as steel. "They think they can break us with fire and fury, but they've never fought in our shadows." Lieutenant Mira, the ghost operative who had sabotaged enemy bunkers in the last battle, stood beside her. "We know these tunnels better than they know their own ships. We'll hit them where it hurts." Outside, the first wave of ground assault teams began their descent into the tunnels via drop pods and breach drills. The Zelnari were determined to root out the hidden heart of humanity's war effort and extinguish it. But beneath the surface, a deadly game of cat and mouse unfolded. Echoes of footsteps bounced through cavernous chambers as guerrilla squads moved silently, striking swift and deadly blows before vanishing into the darkness. Hidden mines embedded in the walls erupted in cascades of plasma, turning narrow passages into death traps. Advanced cloaking fields rendered entire squads invisible, their neural links allowing near-instantaneous communication. Each movement was coordinated with brutal precision, turning the labyrinth into a nightmare for the invading forces. Captain Morales led one such squad, navigating a maze of tunnels to intercept a critical enemy supply line. "Contact ahead," whispered Rajan, signaling with a flicker of his visor. They emerged into a cavern where a convoy of armored transports rumbled forward, guarded by heavily armed Zelnari soldiers. "On my mark," Lena instructed. "Hit hard, hit fast!" Explosions shattered the silence as charges detonated. Plasma bolts streaked through the air, meeting a hailstorm of energy blasts. The battle was brutal, close quarters, chaotic, where every move could mean life or death. Lena's team fought with relentless fury, exploiting every advantage the tunnels offered. The enemy, disoriented and trapped, was decimated. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the fortress, the technicians worked frantically to repair damaged communication arrays and reinforce electromagnetic shields. The Zelnari orbital bombardments intensified, their lasers slicing through rock and metal with deadly precision, but the fortress held. In the war room, Lena received an urgent transmission. "Captain, sensors detect an infiltration squad breaching the northern gate. Estimated arrival in 10 minutes." She clenched her jaw. "Prepare the defenses. No one gets through." As the enemy advanced, hidden turrets powered by elemental cores unleashed torrents of fire and magnetic pulses. The tunnels shook as the siege escalated into a cacophony of destruction and survival. In the heart of the fortress, Lena stood firm, the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. "Hold the line," she commanded. "For Earth, for our legacy." Outside, the Zelnari fleet hesitated, faced with a resilience and strategy they had not anticipated. The Siege of Shadows was not just a battle, it was a testament. Humanity's darkest depths had become its greatest strength, and the galaxy would learn at last the cost of underestimating the forgotten. The battlefield quiets only to reveal scars, etched deep into Earth and the souls of its defenders. As the Zelnari retreat to lick their wounds, humanity begins the long process of reclaiming their world and forging alliances for the conflicts ahead. Yet shadows of betrayal and unseen enemies stir, warning that this war is far from over. The fires of battle faded like dying stars, leaving behind a world scarred and silent. Earth's surface bore the deep wounds of war, craters gouged deep into continents, forests charred to ash, and rivers running thick with sediment and ruin. Yet beneath the ruin, humanity's spirit burned brighter than ever. Captain Lena Morales stood atop a shattered ridge overlooking the battlefield. The wind carried the scent of smoke and earth, mingled with the metallic tang of spent energy weapons. Her gaze swept the horizon, heavy with loss but unbroken. Behind her, soldiers moved through the wreckage, searching, salvaging, and preparing for the next phase of a war that had already tested the limits of endurance. The Zelnari fleet had been pushed back, severely wounded, but not destroyed. Their retreat was a strategic withdrawal, a momentary reprieve in a war that had only just begun. Lena's communicator crackled. "Captain," came the voice of Lieutenant Mira, steady but grim. "We've located a hidden cache of enemy weapons. An intel deep beneath the northern wastes." "Good work," Lena replied. "Secure it. Every advantage counts." As dawn crept across the blood-streaked skies, the true cost of the conflict revealed itself. Families lost, cities shattered, and the delicate balance of ecosystems forever altered. Yet, amidst the devastation, a new determination took root. Humanity was no longer the galaxy's forgotten outcasts. They were survivors, warriors reborn from fire and shadow. In the War Council, Lena met with allies and strategists, scientists who had unlocked Earth's ancient technologies, generals who had led guerrilla strikes beneath the planet's surface, and diplomats seeking to forge alliances beyond the solar system. "The galaxy will not forget what happened here," said one advisor, voice heavy with warning. "We have shown strength but also vulnerability." Lena nodded, her eyes steely. We fight not just for Earth, but for every world ignored, every voice silenced. Yet even as plans formed to expand their reach, shadows stirred in the corners. Of their triumph, unseen agents, remnants of old galactic powers and new factions, watched and waited, calculating, scheming. The war was far from over, but Earth had awakened, and its echoes would reverberate across the stars for generations to come. As the dust settles on Earth's ravaged surface, whispers of distant alliances and looming threats rise from the stars. Captain Lina Morales spearheads diplomatic overtures and military preparations, knowing the galaxy's powers will not tolerate humanity's sudden ascendancy. The true war looms ahead, a storm gathering beyond the horizon, poised to engulf all. The aftermath of victory was a fragile silence, from the shattered ruins of once great cities to the hidden depths of Earth's secret fortresses. A quiet tension pulsed, like the calm before a tempest. Captain Lina Morales stood before a panoramic viewport in the rebuilt command center, the fractured sunlight filtering through thickened clouds. Her reflection merged with the jagged horizon, a warrior tempered by loss, yet unbowed. Behind her, the hum of activity was constant, engineers repairing the scars of battle, scientists studying recovered alien technology, diplomats preparing messages for distant worlds. The galaxy had watched in stunned silence as Earth rose from mockery to menace. Now, many powers whispered behind closed doors, uneasy about humanity's bold claim. Lina's comm buzzed sharply. "Captain, we've received a transmission from the Andari Coalition." She activated the feed. The holographic image of Ambassador Tellis appeared, an imposing figure from a powerful star system known for its diplomacy and military might. "We have been observing your recent actions with great interest," Tellis said smoothly. "The galaxy's balance is fragile, Captain Morales. Your rise disrupts more than you realize." Lina met his gaze evenly. "We do not seek to disrupt, Ambassador. We seek only respect and survival." Tellis's eyes narrowed. "Survival requires alliances. Be wary of enemies who cloak themselves in friendship." The transmission ended, leaving Lina with a familiar ache, a reminder that beneath the war's surface lurked unseen currents of intrigue and betrayal. She turned to her council. "We must strengthen our ties and prepare for what lies beyond our system. The Zelnari will recover and others will follow." General Khan, a grizzled veteran of Earth's guerrilla wars, nodded grimly. "Our forces need to evolve. New weapons, new strategies. The galaxy won't wait for us to catch up." Scientists revealed breakthroughs from reverse-engineered alien tech, energy shields that could adapt faster, propulsion systems allowing ships to outmaneuver foes, and communications that could resist even the most sophisticated jamming. Yet Lina knew the true challenge was not just technology, but unity. The disparate factions of humanity, nations, corporations, and clandestine groups had been forced to cooperate in the crucible of war. But peace would test their resolve. As discussions unfolded, a warning alert cut through the calm. "Unidentified fleet detected at the outer rim of the Sol system," the tactical officer reported. "Unknown allegiance, advanced stealth capabilities." Lina's eyes narrowed. "Prepare defenses, this storm gathers quickly." The distant stars gleamed cold and unforgiving. Humanity's war was no longer confined to Earth's orbit. It was spreading, an escalating tide threatening to drown the old order. The gathering storm was on the horizon, as alliances form and battles rage. Unseen enemies strike from within. Captain Lina Morales faces betrayal by those once trusted, threatening to unravel humanity's fragile unity. The shadows of old grudges and secret agendas blur the line between friend and foe, forcing Lina into a perilous game where trust is the deadliest weapon. The command center hummed with activity, a tense symphony of voices and blinking consoles. Captain Lena Morales stood at the heart of it all, her gaze sharp, every sense alert. The war had entered a new phase, not one of open conflict, but of hidden agendas and whispered threats. Humanity was no longer just fighting for survival. It was fighting to hold together. Whispers of dissent echoed through the corridors of power. Old rivalries between Earth's fractured factions threatened to resurface, fueled by fear and suspicion. Lena's mind raced as intelligence reports piled in. Unexplained sabotage, intercepted communications hinting at collusion with alien interests, and missing personnel from critical divisions. The bitter truth pressed down. The enemy was not only without, it was within. A trusted aide, Commander Jarek, approached with grave news. "Captain, we've uncovered evidence of a mole in our ranks. Someone feeding information to the remnants of the Zelnari fleet." Lena's jaw tightened. "Who?" "Not yet certain, but the leaks have compromised several operations, including our supply lines and communication hubs." Her eyes burned with cold resolve. "Find them, and if they betray us again, they will face the consequences." The room's atmosphere thickened with tension as suspicion spiraled. Allies eyed each other warily. Friendships strained under the weight of doubt. Lena convened a covert task force, elite operatives skilled in counterintelligence and shadow warfare. Among them was Mira, the ghost operative known for striking silently from the shadows, and Rajan, a cyber warfare specialist capable of penetrating even the most secure networks. Their mission: root out the traitor before more damage could be done. Meanwhile, diplomatic relations grew strained. Ambassador Tellis's warnings echoed louder, and other galactic powers watched with growing concern, some subtly stoking the fires of distrust. One evening, Lena received a secret message, an invitation to a clandestine meeting with a representative, claiming to hold knowledge that could change the war's course. Against her better judgment, she agreed. In the shadowed corners of an abandoned spaceport on the fringes of the system, Lena met the figure, a mysterious envoy cloaked in the insignia of a rival faction. "They say trust is a luxury we cannot afford," the envoy whispered. "But I bring information, evidence that the true puppet masters are not who you think." Lena's pulse quickened. "Speak." The envoy revealed a conspiracy linking high-ranking officials on Earth to secret alliances with alien factions, manipulating the war for personal gain. Betrayal stretched deeper than Lena had imagined, woven into the very fabric of humanity's fight for freedom. The weight of the revelation pressed upon her. The battlefront had shifted from open war to a deadly game of shadows. Back in the command center, Lena's task force worked tirelessly, uncovering layers of deception and betrayal. Friends became suspects. Loyalty was tested with every move. As the noose tightened, Lena realized the greatest threat was not the Zelnari alone, but the fractures within. In the cold silence of night, she whispered to herself, "The shadows hide many faces, but I will find them all." The war's outcome now hinged on a brutal truth. In a fight for survival, trust was the rarest and most dangerous weapon of all. The final confrontation arrives as humanity faces both external enemies and internal betrayals. Captain Lena Morales leads the united forces of Earth in a desperate battle that will decide the fate of the solar system. Old wounds heal, alliances solidify, and the galaxy witnesses the indomitable spirit of a species forged in silence and fire. The last light of hope shines brightest in the darkest hour. The vastness of space seemed to hold its breath. The final battle loomed, a colossal clash where every moment could mean annihilation or salvation. Captain Lena Morales stood at the forefront of Earth's united fleet, her face etched with determination and the scars of endless war. Around her, ships from all corners of humanity's factions gleamed, their weapons primed, their crews ready. The galaxy's eyes were fixed on them, not just as a military force, but as a symbol of a species risen from ashes and shadows. Behind them lay a battlefield, hardened by fire and sacrifice. The scars of betrayal had been confronted and overcome, the fractures in humanity's unity forged into unbreakable bonds. Admiral Cortan, the last remnant of the Zelnari command, gathered what forces he could for a desperate gambit, a weapon of unimaginable destructive power, hidden deep within. The dying star, Helion's orbit. "Today we end this," Cortan vowed, voice cold with fury. "We will extinguish the last light of humanity." Lena's comms buzzed, a chorus of voices steady and resolute. "Captain," came Mira's voice, "the traitors have been rooted out. Our ranks are whole." "Good," Lena replied, "because now we fight as one." The battle erupted with a fury that shook the heavens. Plasma storms clashed with cascading energy waves. Starships maneuvered with breathtaking agility, weaving through debris and explosions in a deadly dance. Lena's flagship led the charge, weaving through the chaos with a precision born of relentless training and fierce will. Below, on the planet's surface, the Titan core blazed with renewed power, sending surges of energy that fortified the fleet's shields and disrupted enemy sensors. The tide turned as humanity's combined might overwhelmed the Zelnari's last defenses. Fighters tore through the enemy lines, while colossal war machines struck decisive blows against orbital weapon platforms. In the heart of the chaos, Lena faced her greatest challenge, board the enemy flagship and neutralize the Helion weapon. Before it could unleash devastation, with a select team, she breached the vessel's hull, the air thick with tension and danger. Corridors echoed with distant alarms and the hum of advanced machinery. The final confrontation was brutal. Lena's team fought through waves of enemies, their every step a test of endurance and resolve. At the weapon's core, Lena faced Cortan himself. The duel was fierce, a clash of will and skill, ancient hatred and desperate hope. "I will not let you win," Lena said through gritted teeth. "Then die with your species," Cortan snarled. But humanity's last light burned brighter than any star. With a final strike, Lena disabled the weapon, sending a shockwave that crippled the enemy flagship. Outside, the Zelnari fleet faltered and surrendered. As silence fell, Lena gazed up at the stars, the weight of victory tempered by the cost. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Earth was no longer a forgotten world. It was a beacon, a reminder that from silence and shadow, light could rise, and that sometimes the last light burns brightest in the darkest hour. The end.